The Chicago Bulls played one of their best first halves of the season. Too bad it was followed up by one of the worst second halves in NBA history, and this team, maybe time to go ahead and just put the pin in them. The Chicago Bulls may be done. Let's get into it all and more on today's Chicago Bulls Central.
You are now tuned in to Chicago Bulls Central, your number one place for all Chicago Bulls news and content.
All right, Bulls fans. So I really don't know what to say. It was a tale of two halves against the Cleveland Cavaliers and officiating. The Chicago Bulls playing one of their best first halves I have ever seen them play as far as offensively and defensively, just executing well. Being over 55% shooting from the field in the first half were the Chicago Bulls, and then over 50% from three-point range as well. This team was rocking and rolling on offense and defense and looking like they were going to get their revenge against the Cleveland Cavaliers with a balanced offensive attack in which saw every player that checked into the game score. But then the second half came, and that's where a star acted like a star, and too bad it wasn't a player on the Chicago Bulls, in which Donovan Mitchell just went nuclear, scoring 71 points in a game. And most of that coming back, the Cleveland Cavaliers did not have their first lead until the overtime period. The Chicago Bulls had every opportunity to close them out. Ayo Dosunmu down the stretch with two wide open threes in the corner. DeMar DeRozan and Zach LaVine largely towards the end of that fourth quarter just being non-existent, almost deferring to the other players on the team to where I don't want to say they were afraid of the moment, but I don't know if they were trying to send a message. I have no idea. The officiating in this game was absolutely atrocious, even down to the point to where it was a lane violation on the game time bucket that Donovan Mitchell had that sent the game into overtime that just should not have happened. The officiating is missing too much. And don't get me wrong, we're going to talk about the officiating because the officiating in this game, something needs to happen with the officiating. Billy Donovan even saying in his post-game presser about the last 2-minute reports, doesn't do anything. It's like, we are sorry. We're sorry. It's unfortunate. At this point in the NBA season, not just because of the Chicago Bulls, the NBA has to look at something and do their due diligence in finding a way to hold the referees to better be accountable for bull crap like this. Talk about affecting the spread. The spread was a 4-point spread in this game. They made sure that the Cleveland Cavaliers covered that. And I don't give a damn. Listen, this ain't locked on. This is Chicago Bulls Central. I can say whatever I damn well please in this. There is some mass type corruption going on with refereeing and officiating in this season. Now, I'm not blaming this loss entirely on that. But if you watch enough NBA games, you can tell that the refs are absolutely point shaving. And I don't care. Nobody can give me an explanation that I'm going to take anything but that. But let's be clear here. As bad as the officiating is, as terrible as it was, and as many heads that need to roll because of the officiating in this game, as many heads need to roll on this coaching staff, on the Bulls players' execution, and at this point, it's time for a goddamn trade. I've been playing it safe. I'm not playing it safe, but I've been trying to be even kill about it, trying to be realistic about it, saying that this team is less likely to completely blow it up. And I still do believe that. And I'm not even necessarily calling for a complete blow up, but something needs to happen. One of these medium threes need to go. At this point, I don't even give a damn who it is. Pick a direction. The thing that's ailing the Chicago Bulls team isn't a lack of talent. It's lack of the coaching staff using players to the best of their ability. Some heads got to roll on that as well. Somebody needs to have a come to Jesus moment. It's as much as the players not stepping up to the opportunity. Will, you couldn't box out a 6'1" guard, and you are 6'7" with that 7-foot wingspan, and you have a ton of pounds on Donovan Mitchell, and you couldn't box him out? You don't know what the hell a box out is? Heads need to roll when it comes to this, and guess what? I said we're going to wait till January 15th, and the Bulls may still very well pull it out. But at this point, even if this Bulls team does make the playoffs or make a play-in tournament, it's putting a Band-Aid on a much larger situation that AK and Eversley need to do something about, and that is the talent and roster construction of this team. No matter how many keepers or whatever else you see on this team, the makeup of this team is not getting it done. AK and Eversley made a bet on trying to find a way to compete now, not for a title, but to be a playoff team while you bring along the younger players. And guess what? It has not worked. The younger players have not developed at the rate or to the level that you needed or hoped that they would. And Patrick Williams and Ayo Dosunmu, Kobe White, who's had probably the biggest form of development on this team with how he's turned himself into a solid two-way player. But outside of that, the players are not developing. Dalen Terry can't get on the court. We don't know who the hell Marko Simonovic is. We're not even sure if the coaching staff knows who he is. Something needs to happen. This Bulls team has one of the oldest rosters. They're right in the middle of the pack as far as average age per roster. And guess what? We do not have the future that some of these younger teams have. Look at the younger teams that are still struggling on the season. Look at the Detroit Pistons. Look at the Houston Rockets, both teams which we have had some issues against. But they at least have a trajectory that you can see as long as their healthy players develop and stay healthy. Their young players develop and stay healthy. I think it said healthy players stay. You know what the hell I mean. The makeup of this Chicago Bulls team is not a championship makeup team. It's not a championship quality team. It's not even an Eastern Conference finalist quality team. So because of that, this AK and Eversley better be on the phone trying to work something out. Not necessarily saying that it has to come by this trade deadline, but in the offseason, heads need to roll. You decided to extend head coach Billy Donovan, who is not developing the players that you need to be developed here. He's not even using the veteran in Nikola Vucevic to the best of his ability. He's defaulting to isolation ball and letting Zach and DeMar do what the hell they want. And that is another thing that was so frustrating in this loss by the Chicago Bulls, is that when the going got tough, they got back to doing the hero ball and away from running the game plan. You know where we found success in the first half? When we ran the game plan. When we ran an actual offense and not try to do a bunch of superhero shit. You're not superheroes. You're not. We don't have a generational talent on this team. We don't have a top 10 NBA talent on this team. And because of that, you have to play as a team to do so. Getting out-rebounded hugely in the second half of this game as well. The Chicago Bulls had the rebounding advantage by, I think, 7 in the first half. Ended up getting out-rebounded by 5 in this game. Chicago Bulls, who shot the ball, as I said, above 50%, ended up shooting below 45% to end the game. The Bulls need to get their shit together, but outside of that, you can only ask, at some point you have to believe in the roster that you have. And the belief in this roster is, guess what? This is a team that at best is going to hobble themselves into the fucking play-in tournament. If they can do that, that is the best. Right now, with the level of play that we've seen from the Chicago Bulls, the absolute best that we can hope for is to limp into the play-in tournament and hope that we can do something. We can get a couple of wins. That is not enough for Chicago Bulls fans. We deserve more, and this team does not have the heart to give it to us. Yes, the officiating was absolutely atrocious, but the Bulls' heart, their play, their execution was absolutely atrocious as well. You know what? We had bad officiating in the first half as well. You know the difference in that? The Bulls still executed and shot the ball well enough to where they were still putting points on the board. When you're getting pigeonholed by the damn cornhole, maybe is the better word, whatever, by the referees, and then you don't shoot the ball, you don't execute, you get out of your offense, that's a double dose that no team's going to be able to overcome. This Chicago Bulls team, again, has no resolve. And even though they show flashes of it, even though they show a little bit of it, they can't find a way to capture it, put it in a bottle, and use it every single game. And until you get a team that can do so, this team is not representative of the city of Chicago. We deserve more. Bulls Nation deserves more. This fan base deserves more. Hell, the players themselves, they deserve more because they aren't getting the biggest support from their coaching staff as they should. It's time for heads to roll. It's time. AK and Eversley, you came in here. We had faith in you. You made moves. You turned us to a playoff team. Shout out to you on that. But you have to get us to the next level. This team that you built got stagnant and stale in one season. Now you need to find a way to make this team fresh again. And guess what? The bet on continuity, that shit failed. Continuity didn't do a goddamn thing for this team. And we can talk all day about if Lonzo Ball was back and we need Lonzo. Yes, we need Lonzo. Hell, we need all the talent we can get. Can you bring back Michael Jordan? Can you bring back Scottie Pippen? Hell, Joe Kim Noah, what you doing? those players, even in their advanced ages, would give more heart than what the hell this team's giving. We don't have a leader. We don't have a lot of things. And until this front office does something to change it, we're just going to be struggling the rest of the. We got more than half the season left to go. And whereas, is there time for the Bulls to turn it around? Absolutely. By logic, there is. But if you're looking at this team play, if you're seeing their body language, if you're watching the way that they lose these games, you can tell ain't much heart there, ain't much hope for upside there, ain't much hope for turning it around there. They don't believe it. How the hell are we supposed to believe it if they don't believe in themselves? And that's what we're seeing from this team, is a team that gets down on themselves and let teams punch them in the face, and they just take it and keep moving. And Pat and Ayo Dosunmu missing shots in the corner, open shots at that. This ain't what it is. This is not what we deserve. I don't sit here every day and cover this team that I love with all my heart and soul. I love the Chicago Bulls. I love this franchise. I live and breathe Chicago sports. Look at how much time I put into this every single day. I'm the only truly daily Chicago Bulls show around. Every single day, Monday through Sunday, I'm dropping content. Not because of some need to just sit in front of a microphone and talk. It's because I love this franchise and I'll always have something to talk about when it comes to this team, because I love this franchise. But you know what they're giving me to talk about now? Is to talk about how this team is soft, how this team has no resolve, how this team is complete and utter garbage. And I say that to mean this. Yes, this team can win a lot of basketball games. Yes, this team is going to dazzle at times. Yes, there are going to be times where this team is rocking and rolling and they look like a team that could be one of the better teams in the Eastern Conference. We're going to get flashes of that over the course of the season. But until those flashes become the consistent vision, I don't give a damn about flashes no more. I don't care. I can talk all day about how heart will do sometimes what skill won't do. But guess what? It don't matter if you can't get consistent heart from people paid millions of dollars to play a game and to have some pride about wearing my franchise on your chest every single night. And nobody is abstaining from this. Billy Donovan chewing that goddamn gum. Thank you for getting a tech and standing up for your players once. Thank you for that. Zach LaVine and DeMar DeRozan, I don't even know what to say anymore when it comes to you two. I really don't. I don't. And for every 40-point game, there's a game like this. Every first half, and DeMar DeRozan getting 3 steals, looking good, being focused on the defensive end. You get an ending of a game like this, in which it was terrible. The Bulls got completely embarrassed in a game that they were up by double digits, almost 20 points at the half. This isn't it. This isn't what we spend our money on. This isn't it, what we invest our time into. This is not it. We deserve so much more from a franchise that we give more heart and our time into than the players are giving into. And I don't give a damn about the post-game comments. This team can say all the right things that they want to in the post-game about this and that and finding resolve, finding their heart, all this execute. I don't give a damn. If it's not on the basketball court, I don't give 2 flying fucks. Excuse my language, about what you tell me in a post-game show. The Bulls are now 1-4 in overtime periods. You know why? Because all the other teams play with more heart. They play with more reserve. And one of the surprising things, how this game compares to the Raptors game in which they gave up 81 to Kobe, the Raps led by 18. Kobe had a big third quarter. Bulls led by 21. Mitchell Robinson had a huge third quarter. Both Kobe and Donovan Mitchell had more than 20 free throws. Kobe scored 81 in 4 quarters, and Donovan Mitchell scored 71 in 4 quarters. And you know what? It would have been nice? It would have been nice if our $215 million man and Zach LaVine saw that the other team's guard was going off and said, hey, I'm about to step this up. I'm about to put the team and the city on my back, and we about to represent. You know what we got instead? We got a Zach LaVine that was hesitant to make shots. And then when he took shots, they were, again, early in the shot clock, step backs, not ones that really worked within the flow of the game. You know what Donovan Mitchell did? He put that team on his back. And he got buckets to his bigs and Jared Allen. He trusted his teammates, put those teammates in position, used the way that he was scoring as a deterrent to get other players involved. You know what the Chicago Bulls stars and DeMar DeRozan and Zach LaVine did? They made sure our team only scored 4 points in an overtime period. This team ain't it. This team is not going to get it done. No matter how much faith and see red that I have in my soul and my DNA, this team ain't going to be the team to get it done apparently, and it's time. It is time for a move. A change needs to be made. We need some new energy on this team. We really need some new energy on the sidelines with the coaching staff, but since they decided to extend them, that's less likely to happen. Something needs to give. It's time for a change for the Chicago Bulls, and I don't know if AK and Eversley are willing to admit their mistakes enough to turn this shit around. We'll see. We'll see what happens at the trade deadline. We'll see what happens leading up to it. We'll see what happens in the next offseason. But at the end of the day, it's this. The gloves are off now with this team for me. And it ain't going to be Petty Roosevelt that comes for you. It's going to be Cordero, a.k.a. Haize, that comes for every single one of you guys if you continue to disrespect my team and my franchise and my city. Let that be what it will. Make sure you guys are following the show at Bull Central Pod. You can send us any feedback, questions, comments, concerns, bullcentralpod@gmail.com. Lastly, if you want to leave a text and our voicemail, the number to do so, 773-270-2799. We are the number one spot for everything Chicago Bulls related because of you guys. And like I like to end everything on, go Bulls, see red, love you guys, and peace, y'all.
This has been a presentation of the Break Media.